What is happening, everybody? And welcome back to another episode of GKDR. It is episode 63, and it is Tuesday, May 20th at the time we are recording this here episode. And I am your host this evening, Garrick B. Eaton. I'm not eating at the moment, though, but boy, am I really looking forward to doing so later. And I am joined by, actually, two of my very bestest friends. As always, I am joined by my partner in crime every Tuesday, Devin Stanford, Brevin the dude. How are you doing, friend? How are you doing?
I am doing pretty good, actually. Just worked a long day. Got a bunch of got some friends and some family signed up for the Magic the Gathering Final Fantasy pre-release tournament.
This motherfucker just wants to control the pod, so he's got a higher likelihood to win.
No. So the way that it works, it's one of the official pre-release draft tournaments through Wizards of the Coast, and the way that it works is you all sign up and then they randomize the bracket system, and it's 1v1 matches,
okay.
2 out of 3. So I have yet to play anybody I know when I've done this. So
Sweet.
yeah,
Well, that'll be
like
fun.
the first one I did, my
That's
dad
this
and
week
my brother.
or next week?
No, that's not till June 7th is when we're doing it.
Okay,
So,
still a couple of
yeah.
weeks then.
Yeah, but I wanted to make sure everybody got some slots in while there was still some slots left, So
Fair enough.
yeah.
Is it still like a $25 sign up?
This one's 45.
45.
Yeah, but it includes the pre-release.
It's been a while since I've done a pre-release, so
yeah. This set's really expensive for some reason, which kind of sucks.
Because Final Fantasy.
Yeah. But I adore Final Fantasy, so it's like I'm putting my money where my mouth is.
You do.
So yeah.
Hell yeah. Well, hopefully you get to, and maybe you'll get to face down somebody you know at the tournament. That'd be pretty.
I hope
sweet.
not. My
hope not.
Yeah, because my brother and my dad always get mad when they have to play me.
Well, they can suck it up. Fucking just tell them to get good and do better. We are also joined by a very rare guest on GKDR these days. The man with the family, and too much going on to be here for us. Because, I guess.
What are you talking about? He's on the best podcast. Fuck those guys who think they're on the classiest podcast. This is the best podcast.
This guy over here thinks he's gonna take over Shipwreck Show and not run it into the ground somehow.
Damn.
Oh no, I am 100% going to run into the ground. That's the main.
It's gonna be a system.
It's really hard to run something into the ground that's already shipwrecked, though.
Yeah, I'm not running into the ground. I'm running into the water. See, it's gonna be a soft landing.
It's already in the water.
Ridiculous.
What's going on,
Xander? How are you doing, friend?
I am okay. It is day 2 after leg day, so I'm starting to feel the muscles do the ouchies in my legs. Yeah, I actually, so funnily enough, for Mother's Day, I got Jackie with like that Theragun, the muscle massager thing.
Those are awesome. I have
dude,
one.
Yeah,
I
have
used
one
it
also.
on my thighs, dude. And then I like moved over to because it's getting kind of tight on the buttocks and it hurts. So I went over there and I realized I should probably lay down and take care of this because I was not able to like stand up straight at all. And so I laid down
his glutes.
and then and then my daughter walks in, and this is how I know my daughter has she's gonna be a comedian one day, because like she literally walked in after getting ready for bed. She walked in, took one look at me. I looked up, and she's like, and then walked out.
Fucking ridiculous, dude.
She's
like, I don't know what's going on here, and I don't really need to know.
She's like, I'll see you downstairs for dinner, Dad.
Yeah, I'll let you have whatever that is moment to yourself.
Yeah,
I literally just imagine you like laying with like your face on the bed or the couch, and you're just like at this weird angle, like trying to get like.
Yeah, it was exactly that. Yeah, so don't work out, kids, because it hurts.
Just
Don't
be
listen
smart
to
about how
him.
you
Work out.
and warm down after your workouts.
Yes. Warm up and warm down.
I
But hey,
always do a little run. You know, that's what I
man,
do.
fuck running. And we're certainly not talking about running this evening, but we are talking about, does Doom shine in the dark ages? Bungie can't not plagiarize, and much, much more, because this is Good Kraken's Death Ratio, where we are slashing through the podcast space to be your source for all the nerdy video game news, reviews, and discussions that you want to hear each and every week. If you want to get ahead of the curve, you can head on over to our Patreon at patreon.com/Good Kraken Pods, where you can submit questions and topics to the shows, get exclusive content, and have early access to episodes before they go live on podcast and video services, wherever you like to watch or listen. You can also help us level up our game by joining the GK community on our Discord channel by clicking the link in our description section below, then subscribing to our podcast channel by searching Death Ratio and leaving a review there.
Wouldn't be a Garrick hosting episode without a new word being made up.
Clinking?
Yeah,
I'm
listen,
pretty sure
man.
that's just, isn't clinking just an onomatopoeia?
I think so. Well, I think it's a verb. It's a verb as in the act of the clink, the act of the onomatopoeia.
Well, I'm
So
pretty
clink is the
sure.
onomatopoeia. Clinking implies that there's a. I'm not a teacher.
I'm pretty
Don't listen
sure
to me.
clink is an onomatopoeia.
Obscure word usage. How about that?
Yeah. Anyways, but yeah, Devin, we have some critical hits. Not
Do
many.
we?
Just a couple quick little reminders. Just some little ones. Do you have our sound? You haven't done the sound in a while.
You know what? I do have a sound for you guys. So, yeah, listen to that.
That one. That's the sound. Yeah, that's our critical hits. Guys, as always, please go check out goodkraken.com. We went through great lengths to secure that domain, so we would have a one-stop shop for you all to get our merchandise and watch the latest episodes of all of our content, including last week's episodes of 20,000 Films Under the Sea, where I believe it was Devin and Ernell do a spoiler-free review of Andor Season 2. You can check that out. You can also check out episode 169 of the Shipwreck Show, where Xander takes the wheel from us for the first time, and it sounds like we will be captaining the ship no longer. Also, you can hear me yell very loudly about how stupid certain individuals in this country are.
100% popped off, and I was here for it.
Dude,
I was like, oh man, I'm going to be cooking with this edit.
he monologued. He monologued pretty hard on that.
I did.
And speaking of
I did
monologuing very hard, guys, you need to watch Andor season 2. It is
I'll get around to it.
hands
I'll watch
down,
it eventually.
The best piece of TV media I have consumed in years, like wholeheartedly. Like it measures up to episode 5 of The Last of Us season 1. It is
Episode
a 10
3
or 3. Is it 3?
Yes.
Yeah, episode 3.
I would know. I've gone out of my way to watch just that episode more than
It
once.
measures up to that, like season 2 does. It is a perfect 10 out of 10 show.
Yeah, I did hear like in passing that you guys gave it like a 10 out of 10. I believe you that it's a really good show. I think for me the best piece of TV media I've seen in the last little bit. I think The Bear still takes that top spot for me.
It's better than The Bear.
Well, that's
I've
definitely
watched The Bear. I've watched The Bear.
Subjective.
And
I've
I've been a service worker before. I've watched The Bear. So,
yeah, but I still think that's just more human TV at the end of the day.
No, that's the thing. That's the thing. Andor is the least Star Warsy thing out there. It's legitimately just a thriller spy drama.
Yeah, but we got that with Rogue One. Anyways, you guys can check out
Rogue One.
That no fucking shot.
It
There's
is. I
no.
guarantee you
I
it is.
actually refuse to believe you on that because
You got to watch it.
Because,
you got to watch it. Prove me wrong.
if you're looking at it from a whole picture standpoint, you have to include season 1 and season 2. And season 1 and season 2 make sure it's not better than Rogue One. No fucking chance.
Dude, I arguably Ernell will agree with me on this.
It doesn't. I don't give a fuck what Ernell likes.
Is he on the show? I don't think so.
But like I said, I'll get around to it eventually. But I have a feeling I am not going to. I have a very strong feeling I'm simply not going to enjoy it at the same level that you did, Devin. I'm pretty burned on Star Wars. In a very general
right there
sense.
with you.
And I love the franchise, but like I said, I'll get around to it. And I'll let you know if I think it's a 10 out of 10. But I feel in my heart of hearts that I'm not going to agree. I bet you it'll be a great show, but I don't think it's going to be a 10 out of 10 for me. But if you guys want to see why they think it's a 10 out of 10, you guys go check out their review, which is available on all the places at 20,000 Films. So go check that out.
I think I might be able to slide our boy in.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Moving right along, we're just going to keep things moving. Make sure you've got the video thingy turned off if you didn't think you did that already.
I do.
We are moving right along into our next segment, folks, where we are lining up the latest video game releases for the next week for you all in the line of sight. Hi, Sam. Our dear friend and D&D compatriot, PubMaster DRAX. Sam is here with us. He's here for some special review content this evening,
which we'll get to.
Sam,
is he like actually there? Did he just go into the waiting room and then walk away?
I'm gonna give you a review right now. These pretzels fucking rule.
Yeah. PubMaster DRAX is in here with us this evening. Sam, of course, as always, we know you're here specifically for another bit. But as long as you're here, you might as well offer your opinion if you feel like you got one that's worthy. And honestly, even if it's a bad opinion, voice it anyways, because we have those all the time. So yeah. Let's see. We're still in May. It's gonna be May.
Oh no.
We're going to the.
That's all we can sing. That's all we're legally allowed to sing, because otherwise we get demonetized.
Yeah, we're talking about some games coming out for this week.
Yeah, we are. We surely are. And starting with the day of this recording, May 20th, we are just going to hit the ground running with actually a highly anticipated game. One of the games I've been seeing quite a lot about from Saber Interactive is the brand new Roadcraft. That's coming out on PlayStation 5, Series XS, and PC, May 20th. Then we have Sea of Stars, Throes of the Watchmaker, coming out on PlayStation 5, Series XS, PlayStation 4, Xbox One. I don't know if it's DLC or if it's a sequel, if I'm being completely honest.
It says
Switch
it's
and PC.
Player? It's one to
It says it's 1 to 3. I think Sea of Stars was co-op, maybe.
Was it?
Was it? Wow.
Don't quote me on that. I could be completely mistaken. But I'm not sure. I don't know if this is. I wonder if this is like a Crystal Chronicles-esque.
I'm doing some research.
Look into that for me, Devin. But keeping things moving, we've got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Splintered Fate coming out on PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 4 on May 20th. The Siege and the Sand Fox, that's an interesting title, is coming out on PC on May 20th. Then we have Fantasy Life I, The Girl Who Steals Time, available on PlayStation 5, Series XS, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC on May 21st. I actually really enjoyed Fantasy Life on, I want to say it was the 3DS that I played the original one on. It was it was like a life sim where basically you got to be like a fantasy adventurer, and except for like every time you go out and kill monsters and stuff, you'd like bring back your goods to like sell to like butchers and blacksmiths, and like you would help supply the town with goods for things like that. It was a very immersive little cozy adventure game. So looking forward to Fantasy Life I. Then we also have Game of Thrones King's Road, which is going to be available on PC, iOS, and Android May 21st. We have Monster Train 2 that will be on PlayStation 5, Series XS, Switch, and PC May 21st as well. Blades of Fire on PlayStation 5, Series XS, and PC on May 22nd. Deliver at All Costs coming out on PlayStation 5, Series XS, and PC also on May 22nd. Then we have Duck Detective, The Ghost of Glamping on PlayStation 5, Larry ass game, on PlayStation 5, Series XS, Xbox One, and Switch, and PC, also available on May 22nd. Then we have Linked, Banner of the Spark on PlayStation 5, Series XS, PC on May 22nd. Wow, lots coming out on this Thursday of this week.
That one too. I had downloaded the demo or it was like a demo or something like that, but I never got around to playing it. Yeah, Linked Banner of the Spark. It looks nice. I like the art style. It looks cool.
Sort of game is
looks very family friendly. Dude, I can't even remember. I remember we saw it at like Summer Games Fest or something like that. I'm like, oh, cool. Let me download the demo. And I just never got around to it.
Dude, I don't ever play demos. I always tell myself I'm gonna, and then like
I'm still
it's pretty rare that
haste as well.
That I do end up actually doing it. We have another Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game coming out. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Tactical Takedown. That sounds like an auto chess ass game. That's going to be available on PC on May 22nd. Then we have Windward Horizon available on PC May 22nd. Zombie Army VR coming out on Quest 3, PlayStation VR 2, PC May 22nd. And then on 23rd, we have Oni Musha 2 Samurai's Destiny, another highly anticipated game for this year. It's slipping under the radar in the press right now due to a lot of other things that are going on. But make no mistake, Onimusha is back, baby. And so people are pretty excited for Onimusha 2 Samurai's Destiny. That's gonna be, is this a port, I believe, of an older one?
Onimusha 2 is indeed a port. This isn't the
This isn't the new one. No. Yeah, not the new one. No,
yeah,
sorry.
because Onimusha 2 came out originally on the PS2. I played this game a lot. This game actually had it doesn't look like they're porting this part of the game over, but there was a multiplayer 2 players like split screen thing that they used to do with this game
in Onimusha 2.
Yeah, and me and my brother played it a lot. So it's actually kind of sad to see that they're not bringing that forward.
It doesn't look like this is, and I don't know if this is already available on current gen consoles, and this is just a backwards compatibility port possibly, but this is going to be available on PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC May 23rd. And then coming out on the 26th, we have the Rewinder 2, which will be available on PC. And that will do it for games coming up this next week. That is our line of sight.
I looked into Sea of Stars. So Sea of Stars, Thieves of the Watchmaker is actually a new title under Sea of Stars. It is another game.
Okay,
it's
so not necessarily a sequel.
I didn't look that far into it, but it is a whole other game, whole other release.
Okay.
And it is one that it's a 3-person party. And you can play with 3 people. Each person controls one of the party members. It is a turn-based game. There's some platforming involved in it too. As well.
Interesting.
Yeah, like some grapple hook stuff and like running around and jumping but it is very still much the same like art style.
Stars. I wanted to play it, and I remember downloading. I'm pretty sure it is or was on Xbox Game Pass.
It's on Game Pass still.
And so I wonder if this will be available on Game Pass as well.
Yeah.
Or if this is not. That will be interesting if they decide to do their newest title not
on
Game Pass.
I'll see. I'll actually look right now.
Yeah, but that's what's coming out in the next week, folks. We have a couple more titles that will be coming out in May, but of course we will get to those next week for y'all when we do our episode on the 27th.
Okay. So
yes.
It is an 8-hour free story DLC, and it'll be playable through Game Pass.
Hell yeah.
It's like an extended 8-hour campaign that they just added to the game.
Okay, so they kind of like Miles Morales did a little bit.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Exactly.
Same, but different. Okay, sick.
Same,
all right,
but
that
different.
That sounds awesome. So yeah, that's what was coming up And then, folks, there's a lot of news, but not necessarily a ton that is the worthiest of full conversations in us reading lengthy articles. But there is some interesting things happening in the gaming verse right now. The industry is popping off. We're getting some decent announcements. Some oddball things are happening in the industry, and we're going to get into it by going real quickly and running through a couple of things that we wanted to point out to y'all in our brand new segment, Little Bytes. And I feel like we need like a really specific like retro game sound for that.
Let me see if I have
an
anything.
8-bit kind of like sound.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm putting up. So, without further ado, I have a couple of things that were on my radar over the last couple of days, and I wanted to talk to you about that and see if you guys had any opinions one way or another about those. And of course, I am going to be starting off with something near and dear to my little heart. Helldivers 2, guys, their latest update, Heart of Democracy, comes to a head as the latest enemy faction, the Illuminates, invade Super Earth itself. This is coming directly from this is brand new information that is coming directly from Helldivers 2's personal socials. It has been all over everything all day, folks. It is nuts. If you've been following Helldivers at all recently, they just had an update. That update has kind of come to its climax, and we are now quite literally in the battle for Super Earth in the Second Galactic War. There are currently 220,000 players online defending Super Earth, and almost all of the player base is at Super Earth. This is a really big update, and it is we've got brand new different types of Illuminates to fight. The fuck Leviathans, dude. They're terrifying. They roam around destroying skyscrapers, literally fucking raining shells on you from so far away. They're terrifying. They're difficult to take down. I love it. This, like the mega cities that you get to fight on in the full urban warfare, is something we haven't gotten to experience at Helldivers. I got to do a full operation earlier this afternoon, and I really fucking love that shit. Are you guys stoked for the new update?
I am actually.
Absolutely.
I really want to jump in. Maybe might have some time tonight, but it doesn't sound like that you're gonna be playing.
I may or I may not. I know Ernell wants to play tomorrow. He did absolutely mention that he wanted to do his part.
Yeah.
So I definitely am going
do my part for Super Earth.
Yeah, I'm definitely trying to be on a little bit more regularly. I watched the deep dive on like the actual update itself. Oh god, did I mention weapon customization? Because we've got that now too, and fuck yeah!
Hoorah.
Xander,
Do me a real quick favor and just introduce Little Bytes one more time.
oh, our brand new segment, Little Bytes. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
That's
I was
pretty good.
almost thinking of
it's-
like the sound when Mario
standby.
shrinks. You know?
It was between that or I had the
Or a Pac-Man sound would have been real
Nintendo
good.
Game Boy startup.
Oh yeah, Nintendo startup.
Sam,
like the
it's work in progress.
Pretty good.
Are you interested in playing Helldivers with the new update?
Do you have Helldive at all? Has that been something you've been?
Oh,
I can't
yeah,
remember
dude,
if we've
he's
played.
Helldived
Oh yeah,
for
we've
you.
played together. We've played together. It's been a minute.
Play together, man. I feel so fucking betrayed right now.
Hey,
Damn,
yeah, a little
son.
bit actually. It's
Damn.
it's been a minute since we played any games together. Actually,
It has been. Helldivers is one of those games that I don't think I'd ever play it by myself. I'd have to play with somebody else.
Same.
it's
That's
I don't mind playing it with randoms just because I'm in it for the love of the game. That game definitely like made me a fan very quick. But it is 110% more fucking fun with the homies.
No,
Mhm.
absolutely. I mean, anything's going to be more fun with the homies. But it's just cool that they always have like an update. And I know Devin and I actually talked about this the other day, where it's like this is one of those games that we don't play that often, but it stays on the hard drive because when they do update it, you always go back to it.
Yes, dude, because you're just waiting for like the next little thing, and then you jump in and you get your fix, then you wait for the next thing. I feel like they're taking a very healthy approach to what a live service game can and should be. And like this is probably like the update they've cooked on the longest recently. Omens of Tyranny we got several months ago, and it's been I think 2 or 3 months now that we've been waiting for anything. We haven't gotten any new war bonds because they've been really working on making this new uh this new update like something that players were going to be really excited about and really proud of. And the Seaf soldiers, guys, there's actually Seaf soldiers on the ground helping you fight, like like AIs, like there's
really?
AIs. Yes, Super Earth Armed Forces in their little white and blue outfits, just like the white and blue outfit that you got if you pre-ordered the shit. And literally they will they're actually quite useful. They will use like expendable anti-tanks and shit and like target the things. It's awesome. It's been awesome having them on the battlefield with us. It definitely makes the maps feel really alive. It also makes you feel really horrible when you end a mission and you've got like negative 400 credits because you killed a bunch of civilians and they only cost 25 credits a pop. So more than a few died. But yeah, that's what's going on in Helldivers 2. Their latest update, Heart of Democracy. Check it out. I've already checked it out. These guys are gonna check it out. You should probably check it out. Also, check it out. Yeah, guys. I don't know if any of you guys have played this game. I actually didn't play the original. It just wasn't my kind of. I didn't play this game for the reason that most people did play this game. And Stellar Blade 2 has been confirmed to be in development already by Upshift with a planned release before 2027.
You mean Gooner Blade?
Gooner Blade. Yeah. Exactly. That's like quite literally the reason I didn't play this game. It's just like I understand that there is probably a place for this somewhere in the world, but that main character is just over sexualized for the sake of being over sexualized. And I'm pretty sure somebody tried to explain to me that like there's like a lore accurate reason why she dresses that. I don't care. Like I don't like that's not for me. But I am very grateful and like proud that Upship was able to make a game well enough that it at least attracted a fan base strong enough to warrant a second game. I know Stellar Blade. I don't know if the port for PC has come out yet or is coming out.
I think it is coming out.
I think it is coming out. I think you're right, Devin. And I know that's coming with like they said it was like 12 new skins or some odd shit like that. And I would like I think I made a really stupid comment. I was like, why the fuck do we give a shit about skins? And I was like, oh, in this game they do give a shit about skins.
Yeah, they do. That's for sure.
Yeah, you folks at home that are super bricked up for Stellar Blade, good for you, I guess. You guys can be bricked up a second time when Stellar Blade 2 comes out sometime between now and 2027, according to Upshift. So yeah, check that out. Guys, moving right along, we have news that the latest patch 8 for Space Marine 2 cometh. And data miners are hard at work and have found evidence of what could be a new class available in-game, and with a brand new melee weapon data mined, as well as a new gun. And we are talking the Technomancer Space Marine, baby, with shoulder-mounted laser guns. The weapon that they have discovered in the data files is the Power Axe, and the new gun is the Grav Cannon. Obviously, these are data mines, which means they are technically leaks, folk, but that it is something that a lot of data mine stuff ends up being more or less true in one way or another, which is why data miners do what they do, is to get kind of early snippets of content coming out. I love Space Marine 2. I'm pretty excited about this. It has been a while since I've played, though. Devin,
I haven't played Space Marine 2 in a long time, and listen,
Dude, it's so good. It's so good.
I feel like I need to go crush heresy, and I feel like I also need to spread democracy at the same time.
I actually, funnily enough, for Space Marine 2 is also a game for me where like I just kind of leave it installed on the old PlayStation. Their content drip feed has been a lot slower and a lot smaller in scale than something like Helldivers 2, but they've also admitted that their goal was never to make Space Marine 2 a live service game. We already have the announcement that Space Marine 3 is in the works. They've basically already got my fucking money. That I'll actually pre-order that shit. That's how much I liked Space Marine 2, is that I'm willing to pre-order. In fucking the year of our Lord 2025. Like if they were just like September, it's coming out next spring, you can pre-order now, I'll be like, oh fucking K, and I would happily do it. Because I adored Space Marine 2. That was what like that game actually birthed the love for a brand new hobby for me. I can't even pretend. I have like thousands of dollars worth of Warhammer shit in my room right now.
Dude, you don't have to talk to me about
Like literally,
birthing
like Space Marine 2 awoke something in me as a fucking deep, gritty sci-fi nerd. So the fact that this game is still getting continued content I'm really excited about it. I will absolutely come back and play the new class and enjoy the new weapons and guns. Xander, we absolutely should get you back on. And Devin, you as well, because Xander, did we finish the campaign for you even?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, good. I can't remember. Did you finish it, Devin?
Oh yeah, dude. I finished
Okay,
it.
it's hard to remember.
I finished it within like
campaign.
the first 2 weeks that I had the game.
I remember, dude. I ran that final mission so many times.
When you guys were going off and doing the PvE stuff, I was doing the PvP stuff.
Yeah, I've done a little bit of the PvP in that game. Actually, I found myself enjoying it way more than I thought I would, which is crazy. I don't fucking like PvP, Devin. So
It's
I would
good.
definitely fuck
It's
around.
actually pretty
I would
fun.
fuck around with some Space Marine PvP.
Yeah,
with
I bet
y'all
you
in the
people
name of
are
the Emperor.
absolutely cracked at it at this time. But like, just like on the note of you saying that birthing the hobby for you, Sam did the same thing to me when like I was just getting into Magic, and I was like super casual. My dad gave me a deck and I was super casual, and then he goes, "They're coming out with a Final Fantasy set." I was like, "Wait, what?" And he's like, "Yeah, they have a Fallout set too." And I was like, "Wait, what?"
Yeah, dude.
They got Assassin's Creed too. Shut the.
They got a
fuck
lot
up.
of collaborative sets with that
Yeah.
now. But yeah, we should absolutely get back in. We should get ourselves caught up and prepared for the next update. I feel like Space Marine 2 is one of those games where you can prepare for the upcoming patch a little bit. Well, as like Helldivers, you're actively waiting for whatever that patch might be, so
Yeah.
you can just engage in it immediately. I feel like with Space Marine 2, you can work through the previous stuff.
I think it's
and
more
they have
important that we hell
Go ahead.
dive though right
Oh,
now.
I 100% agree. Like Super Earth has to be saved. Once Super Earth is saved, then we can get back and we can finish the new operations that you guys haven't done, including the new boss fights and the fucking gigantic.
I have to do all the operations.
Hierophant, Bile Titan. And so like all the operations were super sick. I really enjoyed those missions, so we'll work through all those for sure. So that's what's going on. A little bit of news in for Space Marine 2. We have Neil Druckmann, fuck that guy, has confirmed that Naughty Dog has another game in the works beside Intergalactic, the Heretic Prophet. And it doesn't appear to be related to The Last of Us at this time. We don't know if it is, though, or if it's going to be a brand new IP, or what they're doing. Devin.
It's rumored to be a God of War spinoff.
That would be very interesting. And I think depending on what characters they chose to feature in that spinoff, it could be a very palatable story because those characters are really strongly written.
For people who haven't beaten the game yet, I think it might be Atreus.
Yeah, I don't think that's not. I do not think that is an ill-placed theory at all, given how the ending of the second game went down. I do not think we are finished with Kratos' story.
Neither do I. I think
But I do think Atreus' story has a lot of room to grow independently now.
Yeah. And I think if they do it, I think it won't be as fleshed out as a full God of War title. It'll be
I think it'll
in
be
that
smaller in scale.
Miles Morales type of scale.
Yes.
That, you know, because that seems to be like a go-to thing for like Sony Studios lately, is to do things on that scale when they're not sure about making it a whole product.
Yeah, so they scale it down and they repackage it and they make it and they sell it for a little less.
Or
And
they
then
could just make me
they
a new Jack and
do
Daxter
Spider-Man 2,
game
and we
or a
all-
Jack and Daxter
Oh, yeah.
remake.
Oh God, yeah. See, and like, they
Dude,
do
that
have
would be great.
possibilities for that. I think,
Yeah.
which is interesting because that is kind of a dead franchise at the.
That's one
present.
of my favorite like Sony franchises of all time is Jack and Daxter.
Xander, you have your hand up.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, is Intergalactic because I've been seeing some talk about it since Neil Druckmann has been working very closely with Craig Mazin lately. I heard talk they're potentially going to be working on a game together at some point. Is that Intergalactic, or could this be the other game that they have yet
Could
to
be.
announce?
We have some information about Intergalactic. That was revealed Summer Game Fest last year.
Yeah,
right?
Right now
was it
the
Game
director right now the directors on Intergalactic are Neil Druckmann, Matthew Gallant, and Kurt Marginou. And composers
Okay, 'cause
are
I
Trent
don't know if it was-
Reznor and Atticus Ross.
which
Okay.
that's gonna be sick.
Those are some good composers, actually.
But yeah, I've heard some talk. I don't know if it was ever confirmed or anything like that, or it might have just been like at an interview or something like that where they're kind of like playfully talking about it. But because they've been working so closely together for such a long time, people have been throwing out the consideration that maybe Craig Mazin could be brought on to help write could do the overall writing for another game that Neil Druckmann would be involved in as well.
And it could very well be that is possibly what this currently unknown third project, if you will, or I guess not technically third, second project, because as far as I know, Intergalactic is currently their main focus as far as them as a development team.
I'm actually stoked about that game too.
I think that game's going to be really interesting. I really liked the design for the lead. I'm assuming she's the lead character.
It's the actress.
Yeah, and she shows up in. Yeah, she shows up in The Last of Us season 2.
Yeah, she's in season 2 of The Last of Us, and she's also in Sabrina.
Yeah.
Oh, that is who that is.
Yeah. Let me see if I can look up the cast on that real quick.
Yeah.
Because Camille Nanjiani's in it.
I actually, if it's the actor that I think it is, I really liked her in The Chilling Adventures.
And what's his name?
Tony Gabrielle.
Is it Tony Dalton?
Yeah, Tony Dalton's in it.
Yeah.
Troy Baker's in it. Camille Nanjiani.
She had the blonde braids in Sabrina, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Sick. Okay.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure I had the right character actor.
Yeah.
Or the right actor.
Troy Baker's in it. Camille Nanjiani's in it. Stephen A. Chang's in it. Ashley Scott's in it. Haley
that'll be
Wigger
sick.
and Gross, and Tony Dalton.
Yeah, I'm actually looking
I've
forward
grown to love Tony Dalton recently
to that game. I think Intergalactic's going to be. I think that's going to be one of those games. I think there's a lot of hype innately behind it because of the powerful stories from The Last of Us. I really hope that they can transition that same impactful story into a sci-fi, a harder sci-fi story.
Yeah.
It looks like it's going to be very
that'd be
action
fun.
based too, which I'm okay
this does look like
because
it's
that
gonna-
kind of
me
goes
too.
back to its roots, like Naughty Dog's roots of Jack, Jack 2 or Jack 3, which is heavily action based, and it looks like it has some similar art styles pulling from that. But the storytelling with the way that they introduced that trailer, very, very in line with the storytelling in A Last of Us or Uncharted even. We can't forget that, Naughty Dog did Uncharted
I did forget
as
that they
well.
I've never played an Uncharted game.
Yeah, and I think this is going to be more reminiscent of an Uncharted game, but with the
higher
sci-fi
action
action
elements.
that you would get
from,
out of a
Jack and
Jack
Daxter.
game, So I don't think this is completely quote unquote out of this world for Naughty Dog to do.
Yeah, I think you're.
I think
I think you're not.
Yeah.
I think you're absolutely in the ballpark. Sam, are you a Naughty Dog fan? Are you a T-Lu guy? Any of those games?
Are you Naughty Dog?
Shut up.
Yeah. I can't remember the last Naughty Dog game I honestly played. I didn't play The Last of Us, but I know like all about it and just how impactful it was in just like modern culture. Like the story was just incredible.
Definitely
Like
a
that's what good
zeitgeist
writing and good gameplay gets you. Like when you put those things together, that's what you get. And now you have a show with the same cultural impact. That's just like, of course, it's got Daddy Pedro in it, but like that's beside the point. It's still phenomenal, regardless. Like I don't know. Like I need to get like a PlayStation or just buy these games and actually like sit down and play through them. But
they're on Steam.
Yeah, I mean, I'm poor and lazy, so
Same.
Yeah.
Get them on a Steam sale.
Fair.
yeah, I'm gonna have
I'm
to.
pretty sure they go on sale pretty
Yeah.
regularly. Both.
Yeah.
The first one does at the very least.
Yeah. Which I mean, again, I would love to play like another like good third person kind of like just like good third person shooter with like really good narrative, good storytelling,
Mhm.
good everything. Because the last one I played that I can like safely say that I really enjoyed is probably like Gears of War, honestly.
Dude, I cannot wait till they come out with the
Yeah, dude,
Reloaded.
fucking dude,
Yeah,
that and like
I
E-Day
will
is
say
gonna
this.
be nuts.
Last of Us has shooting in it, but I wouldn't call it a third person shooter. I will say that about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I feel like the action elements in that game are very few and far between, but it's like enough to make you appreciate it.
A lot of stealth takedowns, my friend.
Yeah, which I'm like really I'm all for it because like, they make you feel like you are truly mortal, which is what I think more games should honestly do.
Oh,
Um
100%.
yeah, like it's like, oh, you're just a it's like, oh my god, you're the protagonist. You got protagonistitis. You can take like fucking 5 shotgun shells to the chest. Like, no, that's not how this works.
That's like Claire
I did
Obscura.
appreciate that, like that in when I played The Last of Us, is like you definitely had like a sense of weight to the choices that you made in that game, even like knowing that like the narrative is pretty much on rails, so to speak. Like how you interact with the game world and moment to moment kind of chose how like you would be forced to go through an encounter. And honestly, it made more sense to just take the survival route than the fight route, like almost every fucking time, because the fight route was like you're like, oh my god, I'm literally fighting for my life.
Yeah.
Sorry, I had a cough. But we have one last little bit of news, folks, and then we will be moving right on to our next segment. Guys, SAG-AFTRA files a lawsuit over Fortnite's Darth Vader AI voice.
Yep.
You know what is really ironic about this situation is, and like, look, I'm not gonna sit here and defend Epic, right? I'm not going to. But they did get permission from the family
Yes,
to actually
they do
do this.
It's a very interesting lawsuit, which is why I wanted to briefly kind of glance over this. So, in case you have been living under like a rock for somewhere, the SAG-AFTRA voice actors strike has entered its 9th month. We
Yep.
are still very much they're still trying to negotiate and trying to get what they feel is fair usage of AI. And this is a very interesting lawsuit, and the reason I wanted to bring it up is, as Devin exactly mentioned, is they have Epic has complete legal use of his voice through the estate's wishes. The estate wishes granted that owns the right to James Earl's voice's likeness and voice completely gave Epic the legal go-ahead to adapt his voice with using AI technology to be Darth Vader. Now, the reason that this lawsuit has kind of presented itself is SAG-AFTRA is coming from the perspective that, well, we understand that while the estate legally gave Epic the rights to use the late James Earl Jones's voice as Darth Vader in Fortnite, that by just unilaterally making that decision as the estate, they're robbing voice actors who have previously worked with Epic Games to specifically do the real life voice, an actual voice role by a human individual of Darth Vader, somebody who is voice matching and mimicking like the tones and the fluctuations of James Earl Jones' voice as the character of Darth Vader. And so that's why they have filed this lawsuit in the form of an unfair labor complaint. And so I think it's an interesting one. I unfortunately don't think SAG-AFTRA is going to win this particular battle. I think it's on the legal end. It's, as much as I don't believe it's fair, I think it's fairly cut and dry. Like, the estate has, they have the legal rights to James Earl Jones' voice and his likeness. They legally gave that Epic Games access to use that voice and likeness, and I actually don't think it's that great. I've heard clips of it. You can tell it's AI. It doesn't sound like James Earl Jones at all, in my opinion. It's definitely a lower quality product than if a human matching James Earl Jones's voice was doing it. I will say that outright. I think this is just a general step in the wrong direction for us as creators. AI should be a tool. It should never be a replacement. And you cannot convince me that AI voices sound comparable to humans, because they don't yet. I can point out an AI voice so fucking fast.
Listen,
it's so easy to do.
My British Siri treats me right. Okay.
And I'm but again, that is a tool, and that was a role that used to be originally voiced by an actual human being. There was an actual voice behind the voice of Siri, and basically, SAG-AFTRA is coming from the place of, well, we deserve the right to be able to bargain and use these AI tools as chips to decide whether or not that we're going to contract with these individuals. And we'll see. We'll see how it ultimately plans out. I think it's ridiculous that there's clips of Darth Vader saying "fuck." It's weird. But
what else are you gonna expect from a bunch of kids on Fortnite that have the ability to make Darth Vader say whatever you want? Like, it's
yeah. This just seems like a really lazy use of AI, if I'm being honest. Like, I've seen the clips of Vader in the game. And like I said, just to completely reiterate, it sounds fucking nothing like James Earl Jones. Like, if you go watch an AI Vader clip, you're gonna be like, yeah, that's AI. That's 100% AI. I wish SAG-AFTRA the best in this legal battle, because I just thoroughly don't believe that AI has any place replacing the human element in any aspect of a story ever, or any game, like even fucking something as simple as Fortnite, because games like Fortnite set the precedent for that shit, for what's okay for other parts of the industry, because it just has that level of influence. And we'll see where that goes, but yeah, it's a very weird lawsuit on paper.
Yeah.
Without further ado, I gotta get back to the show notes. We didn't want to load. We are heading to what, Devin?
Dude, we're gonna select some chapters because we're moving into the chapter select. That's good noise. That's good noise.
That was a good. Oh, absolutely. A good noise. We are moving into chapter select, folks, and this is where we're doing things a little differently than we normally do them. I had to cough again. So we are going to be doing a review of Doom: The Dark Ages. But when I say we, I really mean Sam, because none of us have played it. But we know it's a hot game right now. We are aware that the Doom franchise is big, and this is one of the most anticipated games of the year. But we wanted to have somebody come on who actually really enjoys the franchise and is not going to come at it from a place of bias, because I don't like those kinds of games. Like me personally, like I was not going to review this game well. I can almost guarantee you I wouldn't have liked it. But so with that being said, we are going to be passing the ball off here in a moment to our good friend PubMaster DRAX. But without further ado, let's get some quick little bits about Doom. Oh fuck, I forgot to write down the release date for Doom Dark Ages. Somebody wants to grab that for me real quick. But Doom: The Dark Ages was developed by id Software. It is published currently by Bethesda Softworks. Some of their previous titles include the rest of the Doom franchise, the Quake franchise, and the Rage franchise. But their breakout game that put id Software on the map back in the day was actually the first quote-unquote true FPS, Wolfenstein 3D. So yeah, they're big players, folks. They're big players. So Devin's currently typing. He's typing the release date. He's editing. Jesus Christ. It came out May 15th. Oh, hold on. Sorry. The release date was May 15th, 2025. And it's available on all current gen platforms.
I just wanted to make sure you could read it.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. Without further ado, it is time to pass that hot potato to our hot fellow, PubMaster DRAX. Give us the deets on Doom: The Dark Ages.
Bishop Creed. We need him.
All right.
Great, I love it.
Yeah. So, yeah. So I like to kind of go over Doom: The Dark Ages. I want to talk about all the stuff I didn't like first, and it's going to be a lot. But the things that I do like, I think, truly outweigh all of those little nitpicky things about this game that I definitely have.
We come from that place often.
Yeah, I did my homework. But yeah, Doom: The Dark Ages is I mean, overall, like, you know, just to start off with the neutral statement, like, this is a good game. This is a game that everybody should definitely play, and if you were intimidated by the speed of Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal, this game is much slower. So it's a lot easier to kind of like pick up and like move around. Like, it's not like crazy lightning speed fast like it was back in the day with like the OG Dooms in multiplayer, and even Quake, which we can thank Quake for online multiplayer gaming. So everybody say thank you to John Carmack for that one. But yeah, which also, if anybody from id Software is listening to this, fucking reboot Quake. God damn it, I've waited like 20 plus years, dude. I'm tired of it.
You and every other fan of the franchise.
Dude, seriously. But to start off with like my review of Quake, Doom: The Dark Ages, yeah, starting with the cons on it. One of my biggest gripes with it is that like the weapons in the game are badass. Like, they are all like very individually unique in terms of how they look and sound, especially for fitting something that's got this like really interesting mix of something that's supposed to sound medieval but also has some like futuristic elements to it. But I feel like a lot of the weapons you get in the game get completely overshadowed by a stronger counterpart that you find kind of quickly. So you don't really get the chance to explore or experiment with certain weapons, because then you find something that's just better. The other thing that I don't really like about this game is how much emphasis they put on the fucking shield. We get it. The shield does things, but they put so much on the shield that it's your crutch throughout the game.
It's like the signature weapon for this Doom.
It is. It's kind of like I kind of compare it to like the suit in Crisis, where like the suit in Crisis was just like this multi-tool, and the suit and your movement was the best weapon in a game like that. But in Doom, like your movement's not the best weapon anymore. It's literally the fucking shield. And it's just kind of annoying that like you find these big enemies like the Cyber Demon, and then the new ones that are introduced, the Komodo and the what the fuck's called, the Cosmic Baron, and these are big enemies that you should be terrified of. But you have the shield and this parry mechanic, and it's just the easiest thing on planet Earth. It's just you wait for the green attack and you hit a button, and then you attack, and then you rinse, repeat. And it's so fucking boring. Like Cyber Demons stand like literally like 12 feet taller than you, and you just walk up to it and you hit right mouse button, attack, right mouse button, attack, and then he dies in like 5 hits, and you're just like, okay, well that was
It
fun.
kind of feels like combat maybe got a little trivialized because of the shield.
I think it's not as complex or as fun, and it takes away from the weapon selection element that Doom Eternal and Doom 2016 really brought to the table, where you kind of would like swap between your two favorites, but you would also have to like, oh shit, I need to crowd control, so I need this. I also feel like the rocket launcher in the game is just incredibly fucking weak and underpowered, but contrary to that, it does have like a really cool upgrade where it's like if you parry an attack, which you're gonna parry a lot of attacks in the game, splash damage that's self-inflicted by it actually heals you instead of hurts you, which is a very id Software thing with like rocket jumping and that kind of thing. The other thing, other things I don't like about this game is that they try too hard to give this a story, and the story's completely unnecessary. Like the writing for this story,
Fucking, you're Doomslayer. That's the
You're-
story.
you're fucking Doomslayer. The people need you. They get you. That's all we need. That's all we fucking introduce the villain. All right, this guy's doing bad shit. Okay, you're go stop him. Boom, done. No, they're trying to introduce these characters that we're simply just not going to care about later on down the road. And they try and try and try, and the writing is just so incredibly mediocre. It would have just been better left just undone. Also, there's other gameplay elements like you fly a dragon, and then you just do the same shit, but instead of parrying, you dodge. And then you're in these giant robots. You do the same shit. You instead of parry, you dodge. It's just the same formula over and over again, no matter how many times you reskin it. Yeah, and it's really heartbreaking to see that, because like Doom Eternal and Doom 2016 was just like, holy crap, this is amazing. The other thing that I don't like about it too is the finishers in the game. There's only like 2 real finishers in it. You either curb stomp an enemy or you split them in half with the chainsaw shield. There's no other finishers. You go and like this monster's in a weakened state, and then you hit your button, and it's like, oh, you punched him, you kicked him, or you shield bashed him. Like that was one of the big appeals of Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal, was that you were like a fucking superhero. Like this was like your own highlight reel. This was your montage, and they took that away from us. So you just get the 2 now, and it's just boring, man. The other thing I don't like about it too is that I do like hunting down secrets, and finding secrets in the Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal felt very rewarding. Like sometimes there's a puzzle you have to solve. Sometimes it would be like, you know what, you can't get there quite yet. You need to come back and replay the level at some point in time.
Mm-hmm.
It gave it that replayability factor, but in this game, just everything's on your map. You just go, oh man, I see there's an item
There's a
down
thing
there on
over
my
there.
map.
How do I
oh
get it?
Shit, I just jump off the fucking edge. Oh look, I found a secret. That's not a secret anymore. That's just like
That you're following a minimap.
You're giving literally, yeah, you're just following a strategy guide that's already built into the game, and it's just like it's not very rewarding to get all these secrets, which is just really unfortunate. now, contrary to all of this like bad stuff that I have said and talked about,
I have one question before you get into the things that you like, because I've heard one glaring negative over and over and over again, and I want to see if you feel the same way. I
I
have
got one answer
heard
for you, buddy.
the soundtrack is dog shit.
I will attest to that.
Like everyone's
Yeah.
just like you can physically feel the absence of Mick Gordon in the game.
You're not getting it's so that's what made 2016 so good, was that you paid for a $60 Mick Gordon soundtrack that came with a really good game. And this one,
For real.
you literally get maybe like 2 or 3 tracks that sound like they want to be metal, and then it just kind of isn't. And it doesn't feel like combat music, just it's just not there. So like you want to counteract that, do what I did, put on your own music. Just put on Lorna Shore in the background or some bullshit. Fucking throw a
shame.
chainsaw shield through everything. Be Captain America, but rated R. Like, do the thing.
Be Captain Hydra.
Yeah, it's just, dude. Like I think they really shit the bed on that too. And it's hard for me to address it because like I played 2 levels and I'm like, yeah, I'm just gonna listen to my own music at this point.
Yeah, but to the point to where like you immediately, like even when those 2 levels, you were just like, it's not punching the way that you needed it to feel, right? Like that's a pretty big disservice to a video game when like you would rather turn off the game's music to just play your own music. That always speaks to me about a game's soundtrack.
Yeah, and it really sucks too because some of the other sounds in the game are fucking incredible. Like there's yeah, I mean games are doing this like all the time now where they mark something and it's like that's a climbable surface. One of the climbable surfaces is in a level that's in hell and it's made out of like skin, and you don't hear the typical sound of like your hands punching through stone and then climbing up a stone wall. You hear like fingers digging into like what sounds like wet meat and then climbing. I'm like, that's good sound design. That's incredible. They just couldn't do it with the soundtrack. It's like you guys like shit the bed here, but you did this incredible job with immersing people in the world with your sound by like stomping around on these different surfaces and hearing the different sound effects of different weapons going off and different things happening all around you. It was awesome. Why couldn't you do that for the actual soundtrack? Like they're gonna be like, we're gonna put this fucking Doom soundtrack on vinyl. Ain't nobody buying this shit, dude. Fuck that. Like, go be a man. Fucking dish out like the $200-300, get the Doom original soundtrack box set with Mick Gordon stuff in it, and just have that on your shelf. That's more of a trophy than anything.
For real.
Moving on to the good stuff. This is the first. At least I'm pretty sure it's the first. This is the first showcase of the id Tech 8 engine, and it is arguably the most incredibly well optimized engine I think I've ever played a game on at launch. I did not experience any kind of crash. I experienced maybe 1 frame drop out of like 20 plus hours of gameplay. The game ran stable with everything on like Ultra Nightmare on a 4070. I capped it at like 200 frames. The game played incredibly smooth and very, very well. Also, load times in between levels is damn near instantaneous. You get done with the level and you hit let's go to the next level and it's ready to go. Like it's kind of insane how well this engine plays. So I'm curious to see what id Software's next project is going to be, which I'm pretty sure is going to be another Wolfenstein game. But I'm really, really hoping that they're just like, fuck it, let's do a Quake game on this
They
engine
haven't done.
because it's so good.
They haven't been the one to develop a Wolfenstein game in a minute, right?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
been-
It
it was
hasn't done. It's been
Machine.
Machine Games. Machine Games has been doing it, but they use the id Tech engine.
Oh,
to
they
make
do still
Wolfen.
use the engine. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that was id Tech 7, and that game played really, really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, the other thing I really, really like about the game too is just like, um, the gameplay is very smooth, so like there's no gripes there. Like I feel like anytime I missed a shot on something, um, it was my fault. Anytime I feel like like I fucked up anywhere, like it was 100% my fault. But I didn't experience any kind of like, input lag, any kind of like, if I hit like the wrong key, something happened. Like I felt like everything I did and made a mistake on was my fault. And I like it when games do that. The other thing I like about the game too is how easy it is to mitigate your health and armor. All of the weapons are like super upgradable and they all do something that is extremely useful. And you're going to want to look at all of them. Even the ones that get overshadowed pretty early on, they still have something that is somewhat useful later on.
What was your
Um,
what was your favorite like weapons in the game?
Fucking chain shot. The chain shot is the best weapon in this game 100%. Um, and it's because of one upgrade you get with it, which is like when you parry an attack, it instantly fully charges the next shot and you can just launch it at a big enemy, which that kind of goes back into the negative, which is just I parry, I attack, I parry, I attack. You're going to do that with that gun the whole time, and it just makes those big enemies stupid easy. um the the other thing that I liked about it too was like when there were boss fights in the game, they did feel really good. Like, and it wasn't just like the mechanics were different, it's just that they actually toyed with it to where when you needed to parry something, it was so off timing and you'd have to like rethink how your timing was, which I thought was really cool.
Okay.
Uh, I did really like that. And then the environments too. Like this is also one of the few id Tech like engine games that I've played where there's an outdoor environment like forestry and stuff and actually look good, because the last time they tried to do something like that, from my recent memory, was Quake Wars, and nobody gives a shit about Quake Wars because it was garbage. But they tried to do like an outdoor environment for one of the maps and it wasn't good. Like it just kind of looked like someone took like a molten crayon and like smeared it all over the place. And it's like, that's grass. And you're like, okay, I don't see it, but sure. And these outdoor environments, like the environments look great. The skyboxes are fantastic. Like when you get into, I don't want to spoil anything, but when you get into certain levels, just, and you find that like bit of respite where you can like look around, look at everything, because the environment around you is just incredible. Like it is beautiful. Like they put a lot of time and effort into how this game plays and how it looks, and it really shows, at least in that aspect of it. um I think my overall like rating of the game is a 7 out of 10. um it's a good game, everybody should play it. Oh, Garrick's unmuting the mic.
Oh no, I was yeah, I was just clearing my throat. I was
Oh,
just going to so like, and you're welcome to give it a 7. I'm not going to stop you from doing that. So,
yeah, yeah.
but we do our ratings on the podcast slightly differently because the fucking games are expensive these days. So we like to phrase it. We like to phrase our ratings just a little bit differently. So we tend to do play it now, wait for sale or on wait for sale or Game Pass, get it on a deep sale, or hard pass on this game.
Oh, I got you on that.
So what
um
do you where would you put it in that realm? Knowing, of course, keeping in mind that this is already available on Game Pass.
uh this if you have Game Pass, you should 100% get this game. Like there is no reason not to. I feel like if you skip it, you're actually doing yourself a disservice, because this game, like I said, that optimization and how smooth it plays, I think really factors in and does a lot of heavy lifting for the game, because it just like it does grasp your attention because you want to keep playing it. But it's just the repetitiveness of how that FPS combat goes can get a little disheartening, and that's like the only thing that I don't like about it. Um, it is challenging. It is really good. It is a lot of fun. But again, that repetitiveness, I can't stop beating up that dead horse. Um, but if you have Game Pass, you should get this.
Oh yeah. So yeah, it sounds like for the most part we're looking at a play it now, or play it on Game Pass if you are a Doom fan or on the fence about Doom. It sounds like Game Pass is going to be the number one spot to really play that game. It's obviously still going to be cheaper for you to get 1 month of Game Pass than it is to pay what I'm going to assume is a $70 game or even a fucking $80 game at this point. I think this one might be one of the last games still released 70 for Xbox, right?
I think you're right. Let me just look here real quick.
They're doing
It is 70.
they're doing 80.
70.
Yeah, they're going to be doing $80 for games on Xbox this holiday season is what they
This
said.
holiday. Okay, I wasn't sure how soon that was coming into effect. So yeah, so still to play it now, even at the base $70 MSRP. But of course, it is available on Game Pass. So check that out there. Thank you very much, Sam, for being willing to sit in and tell us a little bit about that game. Before we get on to our last little bit, did Sam's review change either of your guys' perspective on whether or not this is a game you guys are interested in trying? Xander?
Well,
So the biggest pull for me was the music. When he mentioned the music, I was like, ooh, I don't know now, because I literally just downloaded it on my
It hurts my
Xbox.
soul, dude. It hurts my
yeah,
soul.
yeah. And I still haven't finished Doom Eternal. So
Oh, dude. Oh my god.
So Xander's still on the fence. That it sounds like you'll dabble,
on
but
the
maybe
fence.
not commit. What
I
about
might
you,
dabble.
Devin?
I might dabble.
I wasn't sitting on the fence about it. I just haven't gotten to it yet. I have downloaded it on both my PC and my Xbox. So, it's Xbox Play Anywhere. The save goes between both titles. Both
Fair enough.
systems. So, I was going to play it on my PC, see how it ran on my PC, and I was going to play it in 4K on my TV and see how that ran as well.
Yeah, I still think between Sam's words and Gio's words, who is also a Doom fan, I don't know if I'm gonna play this. I really don't know if I will. It took me a very, very, very long time to learn to even appreciate FPSs to any capacity at all. Like I did not like them growing up. I very rarely like them now. I proudly shout from the rooftops, I have never ever played a Call of Duty game, and I never will. I've never done it. I've never owned one. I've never installed one. I've never booted one up. I've never held a controller in my hand and played Call of Duty. I haven't fucking done it. I struggle with FPSs because they don't have much draw for me. And the bullet hell nature of Doom as a title was always just a big deterrent. It sounds like this maybe lacks some of that element, but I don't know. Well, that's where I'm at with it, and it sounds like, but you guys can form your own opinion. Let us know what you guys think of Doom: The Dark Ages. But we are going to be moving right on along to our final topic for the evening. Devin?
Yeah, we are going to be moving into the end game. And if you want, I can read this article because I have this article up. I have no problem.
Dude, if you want to read that fucking bullshit ass article, that's all for you, man.
I was going to suggest, because I've read the Paul Tassi article.
It's not that long.
I was going to suggest, if we were picking on the specifics of more recent events, there is that that one section that he has sectioned off.
About the
we haven't touched on this at all yet on the show, which is why I don't mind reading.
So with that being said, our final segment for this evening, folks, is Bungo plagiarizes again, folks. Bungie has not once, not twice, not even 3 times, 4 times. 4 times they've stolen shit that doesn't belong to them and put it into their fucking game. And this time it is plastered all over Marathon. And I know that there is going to be some of you out there who was just like, it was just a texture pack. Yeah, but it's a texture pack that's fucking everywhere. It's literally in every aspect of the game.
Yeah.
Holy shit, folks. This is like, I don't understand how they continue to make these oversights. So, unless you've been sleeping under a rock, Bungie has been accused of plagiarizing a small artist, quote unquote, and stealing their work and putting it into Marathon without their permission, nor compensation of monetarily of any value. We have also come to find out that the small artist in question here was a former Bungie employee and was asked to work on some texture sheets. And after they were let go from the position, a new artist was given those texture sheets and said, "Put these in the fucking game," and they just did it, no questions asked. So that's the top level information on what is going on over at Bungie. But Devin is going to read some more in-depth news before we discuss what's been going on.
That is right. I have a article pulled up on Forbes here by Paul Tassi. Quote, and Bungie stealing Marathon art is probably the last straw, is the header here. I'm bringing this up here in a browser view so that way people can see the plagiarized art. You can see the difference between Bungie and Anti-Real and see the similarities, and literally it is to a T. Like they might have changed the direction of some shapes and they might have changed colors on things, but it is verbatim exactly the same. But yeah, going through here.
Jeez.
So Marathon developer Bungie has been accused of and has now admitted to stealing artwork used in the current build of Marathon from an artist who first published the work in 2017. That artist is Anti-Real, who posted several comparisons of her work and existing Bungie Marathon assets, which go far beyond inspiration and often are direct one-to-one lifts of images, words, symbols, and even Anti-Real's own personal logo. One of her statements goes, Bungie is, of course, not obligated to hire me when making a game that draws overwhelmingly from the same design language I have refined for the last decade, but clearly my work was good enough to pillage for ideas and plaster all over their game without pay or attribution. Now, one thing I do want to correct you on, I don't think Anti-Real has worked for Bungie. It's the person who stole the artwork used to work for Bungie, is what happened. Yeah, Anti-Real did not work for Bungie. I just wanted to get that cleared up here. Within a matter of hours, as this began to spread virally, Bungie issued a statement saying it was a former Bungie artist who included the decals in a texture sheet that ultimately went into the game. The issue was supposedly unknown by the existing art team, but obviously many questions have been raised about all this as Bungie continues to investigate. As you see, there's many more comparisons right here. You're going to see the asset rips and all that in the comparisons. Anti-Real's art is going
Those
to be on
little
the right-hand
icons.
side.
Those little icons are like direct.
Oh, one verbatim. Like I said,
they literally just copy pasted texture sheets.
Yeah. Yeah, there is no disputing the asset rips. They are one-to-one in many cases that are clear to see. The result of that, Bungie will simply cut the artists a check and credit them, is unclear. It is possible that legal action could be pursued here, but the artists did not seem to think they had the resources to mount the campaign. That could change given the attention that this story has now gotten. However, there are now larger questions being raised about Anti-Real and Marathon's overall aesthetic. Looking at the image gallery of their work, the design language the artist mentions could easily be early concept are for Marathon designs if you didn't know any better. From the images themselves to even the color palette, it is true that this artist did not invent an entire genre of art, but even across well-known cyberpunk influences in media, I have yet to see anything this close to the gap between this work and Marathon. And obviously there were directly pieces lifted straight from it, so Bungie had its eye on it in some capacity. An additional wrinkle is that it's been discovered several Bungie employees had been following the account, including the game's current art director, who followed her on quote for years. She said, without any communication from him or anyone else at Bungie. Her work went up in 2017, and by most accounts, Marathon started development around 2018 in some capacity. Taking a vibe as opposed to exact pieces is harder, if not impossible, to prove, but in this case, perception is quickly becoming reality and the narrative is hardening. Marathon, among many criticisms, always at least had its unique art style and aesthetic as a bright spot. Now, it's going to be impossible to bring it up in the future without this plagiarism being referenced. And even if it is just a handful of assets that were ripped, it will be very hard to get around the theory that a lot of initial conceptual aesthetic was directly from this one artist. I believe it is too early to start naming and blaming specific individuals within Bungie, but the studio will need to do intense investigation into this and come out with a lengthy explanation in addition to the terms that they've come to with the artist publicly. And they may promise this will not happen again in the future, but it has now happened 4 times in the past 4 years. The others with Destiny fan art that was lifted in some capacity for the game were in merchandise. That was third-party contractors, however, and this is Bungie in-house, or former in-house, or whatever you want to believe. I have had serious doubts about Marathon's ultimate viability in the PvP extraction shooter market for a while now, and doubly so far after the underwhelming closed alpha a few weeks back. But to lose 1 point of pride about how cool the design work and aesthetic is, and this perception now seemingly etched in stone, it feels almost back-breaking. It is certainly true there are dozens, if not hundreds, of artists who have worked on Marathon and have nothing to do with this at all, producing their own original work, but the well is now poisoned. Marathon is supposed to have a ride along alpha feedback session with game director Joe Ziegler today, which was already moved. Ziegler. Words are all made up, you know. It's a little hard to imagine that's not going to be overwhelmed by this story. And I can only imagine that chat will be like, what chat will be like. So we'll see if it's moved again. The game itself also seems troubled in a number of different ways, and I've said in the past that it felt like a delay was necessary. Yes, Marathon started development in 2018, but the current version, after huge overhauls, is barely 2 years old, and it feels like it. But even conceptually, I cannot get behind the idea that this hero-based extraction shooter is going to do especially well in the end, and that's even before its aesthetic no longer seems that cool after all. So,
I do want to interject real quick because since that article was posted, they did in fact have a live stream, which I would argue
so
effectively
fucking bad.
It was so bad. Like you could see the look on art director Joseph Cross's face. He has not slept in days, right? And they had the chat. He probably had the chat window open, and he was just seeing he was getting steamrolled in that Twitch chat. But I do want to add on real quick, if I may. This is from a follow-up article that was also written by Paul Tassi. After that, I'm just going to read the excerpt. It says, but even if the entire soul of Marathon wasn't taken from one artist, art director Joe Cross and members of his team allowed this massive portfolio of plagiarism to make it through from being stolen allegedly 5 years ago to being plastered all over the current build of the game. Mass incompetence. This has slit the throat of Marathon. The one thing Marathon had going for it was its unique art style and cool vibes, and now it will be impossible to bring that up without plagiarism being referenced. Memes were instantly born during the apology portion of the live stream, including, quote, plagiarism will make me God, end quote, and a renaming of Marathon to Art Raiders. And that's just stick forever.
Holy shit.
Yes. Yeah.
Let's see. I
Jesus
think
Christ.
I can pull up that Bungie marathon apology. Let's see here.
It was they didn't even make a statement. They didn't even have a written
Yeah,
statement. It was just
it
on the
wasn't
live
even.
stream.
It was literally he had like some. Honestly, it was a pretty bullshit apology. Basically, it was just like this is like an unacceptable oversight, and I was just like, yeah, we all collectively fucking know that already, Joe Cross. What are you gonna do about it? And cutting anti-real a check is not the fucking answer.
They were even asked. They even had the whoever was the moderator for the live stream even posed the question that was asked by the crowd. Would you offer anti-real a job? Why not just
I'm
hire the
actually
person who created it? I'm like, and they're just like, the logistics. Like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, that's a fucking. That tells me no.
Yeah. I'm
Um,
actually going to give a sincere apology real quick because I do have to go. I do have company that came over.
Oh yeah, you're fine. Of course,
yeah,
man.
yeah. Thank you for
Thank
hopping
you
on.
so much
bro.
for hopping in and sitting in with us and doing
dude.
the review of Doom Dark Ages. We really appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. Next time I'll show my beautiful teeth. So,
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
all right.
Yeah.
Big kisses, guys. Bye.
Love you.
Bye.
See you for D&D. Bye.
I pulled something up here for you. Joseph Cross did do an apology.
There's a
This is
yeah, that's from the
actually
live stream right there.
yeah. He did an apology on here. So I pulled this up. I'm gonna play audio, not only for you guys but also for anybody listening, because I feel like it is important that we hear everything about this. But I wanted to pull this up
I've
for you
already heard
guys.
this.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, Joe.
I watched it live.
And hey, everyone. I'm Joe Cross, franchise art director of Marathon. Yeah, and wanted to take a minute to talk about some of the events from yesterday. It came to our attention, and sorry, I wrote this. I wanted to make sure I get this
He looks
message
so
right. It came to our
uncomfortable.
attention that an artist who worked on Marathon in the early stages of pre-production took a number of graphic elements from a graphic designer without permission or acknowledgement and placed them on a decal sheet that was then checked in 2020. The decal sheet included icons and text elements. These elements ended up in our alpha build, and there's absolutely no excuse for this oversight. And we are working on and 100% committed to our review process to ensure instances like this don't happen again on Marathon or at Bungie. A few of the things that we've done over the last 24 hours and what we're doing to shore up the review process are as follows. We've reached out to Anti-Real, the artist in question, and followed up to ensure that we do right by this artist.
Why does he
we're
say
auditing
in question?
all of the previous work by the artist, the internal artist.
Because he didn't
including the
actually write
environment
this. This was
decals
written by
already
his
built,
lawyer.
which is part of why
Also,
we're
pause this real
delaying
quick,
some of
Devin.
the content we're going to show.
I'm being dead fucking serious. And journalistic integrity is just kind of dead. And when it comes to stuff like this, you could literally have like the goddamn murder weapon in your hand, and they would use the word allegedly.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
because when it comes to the way that this sort of shit is presented to people these days, we're fucking afraid to tell the truth. And by them using that specific verbiage, it gives them a soft out for accountability.
Yeah. I think wholeheartedly, I think this is his fault. I think he knew about this.
Oh yeah, he's been following this artist since 2017. Development started in 2018. Okay, he had to have known.
Yeah.
Show today.
I'm gonna play this some more.
I have a hard
We're
time
committed
that
to removing
believing
anything that is questionably or inappropriately sourced.
An oversight.
We're doing a very broad decal audit, and if we locate any other details or elements, we'll make sure that those are eliminated, recreated in-house for sure. Hundreds of artists have worked on this project for years internally and externally. And we share many influences, including modernism, Swiss typography, 2000s style
Literally,
vector
the
art, cyberpunk,
plagiarized art
and of
is
course
like
the
right
original
behind them
Marathon
too.
trilogy. Our style is a result of all of those inspirations. And it's also worth noting that none of our external partners who've worked on branding or any part of the visual design of our game were involved with this situation.
This was written by a
Lastly,
Sony lawyer.
Personally, I have a huge amount of respect and admiration for artists working independently and producing, and making a living doing commercial or fine art. And we've worked with many of them. It's one of my favorite parts of the job is to make those connections and create content and collaborate. And so to that extent, I want to send my personal apology to Anti-Real, whose work was used in this case. And I know how unfair this feels, and we're doing everything we can to make this right with her. Her work is fantastic, and we clearly share mutual appreciation for a specific genre of graphic design, and it's very exciting, and I'm excited to have folded that into our style in general. So thanks for listening, and thanks for your patience.
It's funny because during the question and answer session of that live stream, because he is actually grilled with questions in regards to the art direction and stuff like that. It's actually kind of funny to me. There's a moment where he says something where in my brain it was literally like, graphic design is my life. I was like, shut the fuck up, dude.
Graphic design
It's
is
so
my passion.
egregious, man. It's
Dude,
so
this is just so wildly disappointing, and like this apology feels very disingenuous. This feels like a corporate apology coming from the we have to make a statement to save face, to save our ass. I do not believe that the executives at Bungie feel any remorse for this plagiarism whatsoever. If this went unnoticed, I think nobody, like, I don't think a single executive at Bungie or at Sony would have given a single fuck.
no, not at all.
I was never going to play Marathon because I am personally disgusted and have been disgusted with Bungie's business decisions. I think it was a fucking fatal flaw when they chose to partner with Sony, and it has doomed them, and it continues to become self-fulfilling prophecy. Everything that Bungie has done since they have started their partnership with Sony has been increasingly dog shit. I sincerely hope that everything about Marathon fails. I want this to be a critical failure. I want this to be a financial failure. I don't think that Bungie should use any of the assets that they stole. I think compensation is simply not enough. I think accreditation is simply not enough. I think they need to fucking backseat this entire goddamn title and rework every single piece of stolen asset that has been incorporated into this game, and it is their fucking responsibility as game developers to make an honest product designed in-house. And I don't give a shit if it takes them another 2 years to eat and they eat an additional 100 million to fix all of the fucking shit, because this is their mistake. They fucked up.
100%. And it really sucks to see a company that I used to hold in very high regard, just keep like the bar gets lower and lower, I feel like, with Bungie lately. Between the decision to partner with Sony amid not fair practices, the firing of the staff, and then the CEO of Bungie immediately buying, exotic cars.
Several like $100,000
like over $2 million.
worth
It was
of
like $2
exotic
million
cars.
actually worth of exotic cards.
An astronomical amount of money
Yeah.
when they're making record profits off of their latest expansion from the Final Shape.
Yeah.
But they're still downsizing. Oh, sorry, they're not downsizing. They're restructuring, which is just an industry safe term to say we don't fucking need you anymore.
Which clearly they fucking do, because and it's so weird.
They need
too,
a
'cause, like,
goddamn vetting department. They need to hire a completely independent department to take care of this shit, because clearly the leadership in charge of these individual projects don't give a single enough of a single fuck to actually look over anyone's work with any earnest. And I find it really hard to believe that they have been following this artist on various social platforms for years, and that they weren't aware that they were sharing a similar art style. I don't believe it. I just don't.
Yeah, it's really hard to believe. Like, so you're telling me you just randomly followed an artist and just never looked at their work?
The
Like, I'm
final
sorry,
statement
that
of
just
that
makes absolutely no
apology
fucking
reassures
sense.
that for me, because
Yeah.
he was just like, it's obvious we share, and the fact that they have the audacity to even make the statement, I'm glad that their designs got folded into art. You should not feel good about this.
No.
You should be on your knees groveling. Like, this is fucking theft. It's, at the end of the day, it's thievery. And the only reason that it's okay is because the company in charge of the theft and the company backing the company in charge of the theft has an astronomical amount of money to sweep it under the rug. If this was a small artist stealing another small artist's work, and that second small artist got a large sum of money, this would go to court instantly. This would be a lawsuit. This would be there would be a lot going on. But the fact that we are now dealing with a single individual's work being stolen by a multi-million-dollar entity, they're automatically at a disadvantage because this is America.
I do want to point out too, this is just one problem out of several with this game. Okay, we have this plagiarism issue right off the bat. Okay, that alone is enough to be like, okay, listen, we probably, if I were in their shoes, I would say, listen, we need to just shut down any sort of communication with the outside world. We need to go back to formula. Okay, we're not going to talk to anyone PR related for like the next 2 years. We're just going to not say anything about the game. We're not going to do it. We're going to rebuild this from the ground up. Okay, because on top of that, on top of the art direction being lifted from someone else, okay, already people who have been involved in the closed alphas have been saying, it's mid at best. At best,
There's
like the gameplay loop and everything about it is just
nothing positive around surrounding the
really
conversation
isn't.
of this game. The devs were just like, we tried to get Bungie to do PvE content for this game and they fucking ignored us. And
Yeah.
it's really disheartening, again, to echo Devin, to see a studio who is in charge of a game that we've all dearly loved in Destiny and Destiny 2. And goddamn, honestly, I have much more fond memories of original Destiny than I ever do anything that they did in Destiny 2. And it's, oh, how the mighty have fallen. Like,
Yeah, what a fall from grace.
the rise and fall of Bungie is going to be studied, and make no mistake, they're falling. I don't think they're going to close. I don't think they're going to shut our doors over this, right? I think they're going to.
Dude, I think it's possible. I think Sony could shut them down.
Destiny has Edge of Fate coming out. They have one last big swing. They have Edge of Fate coming out, and supposedly this is I've been trying to follow the Destiny community. I even, funnily enough, I re-downloaded Destiny 2 only to uninstall it again. But I've been following the community at least, and everyone is saying the same thing, especially those who arguably, I know Marathon is trying to appeal to the PvP extraction shooter side of things, but if you really look at everyone who's been playing,
the PvP extraction shooter trend is not a trend. It's not a trend. It's never going to be a trend. Fuck you. Let it die.
If you really look at anyone who played the closed alpha of Marathon, it was all Destiny players. all of them were Destiny players.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. Marathon already looks like it's going to be basically Concord 2 is what people are actually saying. People are legitimately saying that this is going to be Concord 2 essentially. And this is
This
dead
shit's
on
gonna flop.
arrival, okay? So now all they have left really, I mean, I'm not counting Destiny Rising cuz that's more so NetEase. But with Edge of Fate coming out, right? Was it's like November I believe it's supposed to come out. This is their last saving grace. And if they drop the ball with that, they could very well just shut the doors with because both were just flops. And
Yeah,
they
because
just
I'm not buying Destiny 3. If they announced that shit, I'd be like, okay.
no.
I
Only way. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I was done with Bungie when they fired the staff and the CEO bought all these
Yeah,
cars.
that was the that was
Yeah.
for me. That was the straw that broke the camel's back as well. Like that was
Mhm.
where I was like, no, I'm not going back to this game. And like I've kept up on
Yeah.
some things and I've followed up on some nuggets of information because I was a Destiny lore guy. I was way more in it for the
Mhm.
overarching story than I was almost anything else, and so I like to follow that. But it's fucking like they've just made so many questionable calls, and like you don't get to do the things that they're doing in this day and age and get the free pass. Like I'm like we need to stop being tolerant of shit like that. And like and we're not like there is a large majority of us that aren't tolerant of behaviors like this in the gaming industry, and we're fucking voting with our wallets. And if your shit sucks, your doors are gonna get closed. Like I'm sorry, we do have that power as gamers. We really do. Like Concord is a perfect example. That game could have been a success if only enough people chose to buy it.
Yeah.
That's it. It could have been a critical failure. It could have gotten fucking 5s out of 10s all day long. But because it didn't move the units that Sony expected as a company driven by units and profits, it was like they didn't even give that game a full month before they said you're done here.
Had a week.
Like, and I fully believe that Sony is in a place right now. Well, they will just cut Bungie off at the knees.
Oh yeah, 100%. Especially like looking at the numbers for the alpha tests, like comparative to its number one competitor right now, which is Arc Raiders. Kind of funny, and we got Arc Raiders versus Art Raiders. But Arc Raiders saw a continuous increase day by day with their alpha test, whereas Marathon saw a steady decrease day by day. So what does that tell you?
Yeah, it's all about it. It all comes down to that some of these companies don't have a good idea of what their player base wants. And I just need to tell you, Bungo and Sony, it's not extraction shooters. Nobody fucking wants extraction shooters. Like at all. Like we have two extraction shooters that I have seen with any success at all. Two that are not
Tarkov?
hot dog shit. Tarkov and Hunt Showdown are the only two successful with dedicated updates and active communities in the extraction shooter that weren't complete and utter flops. Like this is not the new battle royale, and y'all have to let that shit go. Like I
think
was
the problem that I'm-
sincerely disappointed when Arc Raiders got announced to be moving towards an extraction shooter.
I did too.
Which, granted, based on my experience with Arc Raiders, there is something about Arc Raiders to be said. Like, there is some aspect of world building that they're doing there that is a little bit more enticing as a gamer. And if, for me, I genuinely hate extraction shooters, but I played that the play test, and I was like, this is actually not that bad. Like, I could see myself at one point, like being like, yeah, I'll hop on, I'll jump in and maybe do the thing or whatever, just to kill some time. Like, but like to me personally, the overall concept of an extraction shooter and like losing your loot at any given moment, that fucking sucks. I
It
detest
is
that whole
it is
that whole
they're
concept.
anti-player by design. Extraction shooters are anti-player. It's
Right.
anti-player by design because if you are if you there's no casual entry point to an extraction shooter. There
Right.
just isn't unless you are dedicating a legitimate amount of
But-
time to make progress in that particular genre of game. You are at a disadvantage, and your advantage can be taken away instantaneously, and you will be left with nothing, and that doesn't feel good as the player.
But you see, Marathon makes that experience even worse because it's not just an extraction shooter, it's a hero extraction shooter. So you have classes that are arguably way more OP. Like there's one class that has this ability where you can just go full invis, right? Like just fully invisible to the fucking eye, and you can just which kind of defeats the whole purpose of being sneaky and skulking around and stuff like that and trying to evade other people because you can just
You can
go
just
invis
easy
and
mode
then
it.
you're fucking good. And yeah, you literally just easy mode it and then you start pissing at other people off because you chose. And but the thing is, what's to say everyone's gonna be doing that? It's like you pick a lane, dude. Like if you want to do a hero shooter, do a hero shooter. You want to do an extraction shooter, do an extraction shooter. Don't try and do both. Okay, you're biting too much off.
No,
Okay,
this
it's just
marathon
the chemistry doesn't work.
marathon is the video game equivalent of that chick from Mean Girls trying to make fetch a thing. Like it's not going to happen.
Yeah,
Like it's not. Like this is you I don't
Yeah.
like I don't know what Sony executive or investor thought that this was going to be the sauce, but like you're fundamentally mistaken. Like I feel like these companies that are making specifically these extraction shooters, and since we're just kind of on that topic a little bit, like I feel like they're genuinely fucking detached from the player base at large.
Mhm.
Like because like if you're playing Tarkov every fucking day, you're a goddamn glorified whale. Like you just are. Like if you're investing like that's the kind of game that's the kind of gameplay and type of player you have to be able to be successful in an extraction shooter. You have to be a whale. And make no mistake, I don't mean you can whale games with more than your wallet. You can whale a game with your time, folks. And that's what extraction shooters require. And it's bad. It's just bad game design. And like the fact that like it's bad game design in a genre of game that is so fucking niche, it has 0 point of entry for any new casual players under not a brand new IP, but a long since in hibernation IP with not really any hype behind it to begin with. And also the original IP that this is being birthed from was a PvE experience, from what I understood, had nothing to do with PvP
no, it
at all.
was 100% a PvE experience, and it kind of for the cult following that it did have, because I did do a little bit of research on the original game. It came out when I was fucking born, so I didn't really get to experience it like that. But the overall premise and the appeal of the original Marathon was its story building and its storytelling, which is what led into the creation of Halo, and why a lot of times even in Halo you saw little nods to Marathon, because it was such an integral part of the DNA that made Bungie at the time, which was these people who are very very good at developing these riveting sci-fi stories, right? So how do you take something which is arguably at the core of what Bungie is supposed to be and blow it up like that? Like it's funnily enough, it's kind of parallel with what we were talking about last night.
Yep. To put a fine point on it, Bungie, you've lost the plot in almost every aspect of your company imaginable. We as gamers and we as gaming in the gaming community are sincerely disappointed with your continued oversights, lack of sound judgment in your choices as a developer and in publishing studio for your own titles. And you guys need to fucking fix your shit. You have one, maybe
Yeah.
2 good opportunities left in you before the gaming community finally turns its back on you forever, and your legacy will be tarnished forever and ever.
Also,
And
Joseph's
this could've
CrossFit.
been-
you need to
It's his
seriously
fault.
think about you need to seriously think about if you how you want your legacy remembered, Bungie. You just do. I know I'm speaking to somebody who's not going to hear this, but I hope that somebody does. Because you have to do better. And plagiarizing small artists in your 5-year project that's likely going to be a massive flop is never the fucking answer. Please let us
Yeah.
know what you guys think about this goddamn fiasco and the continued poor decisions that Bungie has been making, or if you guys think we're off our asses for feeling that they're in the wrong. Let us know in the comments below, because this has been Good Kraken's Death Ratio, your source for all of the nerdy video game news, reviews, and discussions you want to hear each and every week. If you've liked what you've heard this evening, you can head on over to our Patreon at patreon.com/GoodKrakenPods, where you can get exclusive content, discounts on merchandise, and have early access to episodes before they go live on podcasts and video services, wherever you like to watch or listen. You can also help us level up our game by joining our GK community, of course, on our Discord channel by clicking the link in our description section below, and then subscribing to our podcast by searching Death Ratio and leaving a review there. We have to get going, everyone, but until next time,
Don't be a piece of shit.